that a lot of the new money, so to speak, is being made in Asia. How did the report determine that, and what is your opinion about that?
So if you look at the verbiage from the report, it's interesting, right? It's the first. It's almost a sea change, right? So my numbers may be a little bit off, but there are 3.3 million high net worth individuals in the Asia Pacific region, and there are 3.1 million in Europe now.
Yeah.
So you've had the first time where those numbers have surpassed one another. And in fact, the total dollars in trillions, something like 10.5 to 10.76. So you've also seen an aggregate value change as well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so what happened over the last 2 or 3 decades, as Asia Pacific region has started to get their infrastructure in place, right, growing their demographic base, growing their communities, starting with and it's an interesting assessment because as you start to look at their investment themes, if you sort of dig underneath the cushion, if you will, their predominant investment is real estate, right? So globally, real estate is 19% of a high net worth individual's sort of portfolio base, of which roughly 50% of that is their residential housing.
Wow.
In Asia Pacific, it's much greater than that. It's something in the neighborhood. It's escaping me right now, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 33%, I believe.
Wow.
So they're almost, not quite double, but pretty close, of the real estate holdings. And that, to me, is evidence of, the building of their economies, the building of their communities, You see people that are creating vast sums of wealth, not only through the internet and technology and all the things we think of Asia and Asia Pacific for, but also through bricks and mortar.
I'm a little bit aware of the real estate market in Hong Kong, and have known an American who went and bought an apartment in the early 70s, and he's been able just to become a real estate mogul by adding one apartment to another, and then a house and a residence, and just extraordinary. I don't know if Hong Kong is reflective of everywhere, but it's pretty astounding.
Certainly was the first, right? So it has the longest, tail to it.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing, it's spread out all across China and all across India and the like. I mean, I think there are, if my numbers are correct, 12 cities the size of New York City in India or larger.
Gosh.
Right? So you have this huge, demographic shift of people moving into the metropolises of those countries, and it's creating, vast sums of wealth. So it's not just from what we look at as operating businesses and the like. It's also geared towards real estate and holdings that are more what we did, 100 years ago.
Right.
They're going through their, if you will, period of change now. Right. And certainly it started, a couple of decades ago, but it had fits and starts, right? Because they couldn't get the economies on track, if you will, or the governmental bodies, right?